Thanks for joining us for another edition of Weekend Winners, proudly brought to you by One Equine. For the equine athlete, we go back to Albion Park on Saturday night. 10 races, just like last week. The feature event is for the trotters. This time we've got the final of the Jim McNeil Trotting Championship. We've had heats over the last couple of weeks and we've now got to the final on Saturday night, and we go up in distance as well. Both rounds of heats over 2,138 metres. Now we step up to 2,647 metres. Capacity size field, and it looks like it's going to be a good betting race. There's no real standout. I'm sure Agent Black is likely to run the favourite, but there's several there that are certainly going to test him. We've got another really good free-for-all as well, race number 4. I don't think we'll get anywhere near the new track record that was set last Saturday night by Leap to Fame at 1:48.6. But race 4, the free-for-all this week, will be competitive. There's no doubt about it. We've got 10 races. We kick off at 5:45. In this edition of Weekend Winners, we're going to speak with Jack Chapple and Layne Dwyer. The boss is away, so Jack Chapple has a busy night because he's the man in charge of the Dixon Army on Saturday night. And it's a busy night. 9 drives, a 10-race program, so he's pretty much going around in every race. We can give him the last race off and he can head home after that one. Jack, appreciate the time.
Morning, Chris. Thanks for having me on.
Call to Water, race 1, number 7. This guy's going really well, but this is a really tricky draw.
It is. He's been racing well of late from tricky barrier draws, and he gets another one here drawn outside the front. So bit of speed on paper inside us, so we'll just have to try and tuck him away and drive him to sit and sprint him, and hopefully we can be coming home well.
When he scored 2 starts ago, he was explosive.
He was. He's got a great turn of foot, and especially when there's a bit of speed on up front, he can really put him away late. He can be versatile at times. He can come from in front or behind, but we'll have to tuck him away early here with the strong tempo early, I reckon.
All right. Always hard to predict what sort of tempo we're going to get. But when you look at that front line, there's a lot of power there. So no doubt you're hoping the harder they go early, the better. Yeah,
definitely. There's a great combination for a bit of speed. There's a few runners that hopefully look to hook up early and create a strong tempo.
There's no standout in this race. So given how this race unfolds with the tempo and the like, any horse can win.
Yeah, that's right. It's a very even race on paper, so whoever probably gets the best run and trip's going to be the winner.
All right, well, that's Call to Water, race 1, number 7. Let's go across to race 2, Risk Taker. Now, speaking of horses in form, he's low-flying himself. He's going for 4 in a row here on Saturday night. He's got to overcome a tricky draw inside of the second row. You can't knock this horse right now.
No, he couldn't be doing any more of late. His form's been super. He's drawn inside the back row on Saturday night, which isn't ideal. The horse he's following out isn't the quickest beginner, so it's a bit tricky on paper, but definitely got the right horse to take it out.
That horse that you are drawn to follow out, you know really well.
I do, yeah. I qualified him for the final as well at Redcliffe last Wednesday night. So.
All right, well, this is the up to NR75 final. They're always good races, good prize money up for grabs here. We were just talking about tempo in that first race. Do you think you're going to get a good tempo in this race?
I think so. There's a few runners drawn in the middle of the front line that they could either sort of fold across and not do too much, or hopefully to play into my hands they could hook up a bit early, and similar to the first race, we've got to hope for a bit of early tempo to get into it.
So you'll know your fate by the end of the first quarter, say?
Yes, definitely. If it's pretty controlled early, it's going to make it hard to get into it, but if they're still rolling by the end of that first quarter, he's got a great turn of foot late, so that'll play into our hands.
Is it just a maturity thing with Risk Taker, the way he's struck form and the way he's holding form? Is it just a maturity thing?
I think so. He was a nice horse last season, and he's just come back even better. He's been able to hold his form and be at a great level for a long period of time this far.
Okay, well, that's Risk Taker in a race 2. What about race number 3? This is the Band 5 pace. Captain's Pick, another horse that's going really well. He's consistent of late and he comes up with a good draw. He can be a real threat here.
He can for sure, Chris. He's been racing well of late, and he's got the barrier draw to take advantage of that. So the horse to my inside is a quick beginner in 5 Storm Red, which we probably can't get across yet early, so we're just going to come out as good as we can to hold a forward position. But I think we can land a handy spot from the 2 gate and be in the finish late.
Okay, what are your thoughts on the distance? 2,138 metres. This seems like it's his pet trip.
It does. He lacks that high point-to-point speed. So over the 21. He likes to get into a bit of a grind and just whack away. So the 21 is his preferred distance.
All right. There's no standout in this race either, is there?
No, again, it's a very even race. So hopefully we can be in the finish.
All right, well, that's captain's pick there in race number 3. Race number 4, this is the Open. You're back behind Tim's a Trooper, and he's in really good form. You can't knock the way he's going. He's been placed his last 5 or 6 runs now. Terrific last week.
No, that's right. He couldn't be doing any more. A lady was sectionally, he was great last week. So a nice soft draw on the fence. It should play out well for him.
All right, so how does this race shake out early? Manila Playboy's the horse you're drawn to follow out. He's okay. There's a bit of speed drawn to his outside, so how hard do you think they'll run it early here?
Yeah, I think it'll be a genuinely run race early, as most of these Open races are. So hopefully Manila Playboy generally leaves the arm pretty well, so hopefully it's got enough speed to hold the main ones out. And if they choose to sit on Whisper a Secret 3 fence, isn't the end of the world in a race like that, but he'll be coming home strong no matter if we're behind the leader or 3 fence.
All right, so even if you are 3 fence, he's still good enough to win?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think it's the end of the world if we land there. He's got a great turn of foot.
Okay, so again, he was off the scene through injury for a fair amount of time. He's got back into that racing routine, and he's just thriving on it right now. Week in, week out, he's always putting in.
He is. He's a great open class horse, and every week he's just getting a bit fitter and stronger and putting in great runs week in, week out.
Okay, being a mile, and as you said, they normally run at a bit of tempo. I'm tipping they're not going to go track record time like we saw last week, but it's still going to be a fast run race.
Yeah, for sure. They won't be loafing early, and generally there's a good speed throughout in these open class races.
All right, race number 5. This is the quali, and he's one of your favourites, this guy English Dance. You've won countless races with him, and he comes into this race as a last start winner. Is this a suitable Saturday night assignment for him?
He's been racing well in the midweek grades at Redcliffe, so it definitely is a step up in grade, but he's been doing as much as he can in them midweek races, so it'll be interesting to see if he can handle the step up in grade or not.
Tell me this, just the way he's going at Redcliffe, it looks like his gate speed's improved. Is that fair, or is that just a mistruth?
No, his gate speed is improving. He's been leaving the arm pretty frequently each week, so each time he's doing that he's getting a bit keener, and he's really wanting to run the arm at the moment, so we're going to need a bit of speed on Saturday night. The runners to my inside all leave pretty well, so we'll have to slide forward, I think, from the gate and try and land in a handy spot. In
a few of those races at Redcliffe, you've asked him to leave hard, and he's responded. He's been able to punch through and hold, some really speedy types. So it looks like he is improving. But as you said, it does look tricky, this draw.
It does. It's a tricky gate at the best of times with a quick beginner, and especially with the ones to our inside, we're probably just going to have to slide forward and get in a position where we can. It's a bit tricky on paper. It could go either 2 ways. We could be sliding back or sliding forward. We're just going to have to come out and see how it plays out.
All right. Feature race on Saturday night is the Jim McNeil Trotters Championship Final. You're going to drive Banff. Now, he was super impressive taking out his heat last week. I suppose they're all in the same boat to some degree here. Most of these are all unproven at the trip. Do you think he can run 2,600 metres?
I think he can. He's run a few nice placings over that trip. It's definitely going to be a step up for most of them, so it'd be interesting to see how they handle it.
Yeah, and like I said, even the favourite, Agent Black, he's unknown at the 2,600, so if they do run along here, some of these might get found out quickly.
Yeah, definitely. It's if there's a genuine pace early, it can be made for some of the back markers for sure.
He comes into this race with that victory, and he should be full of confidence because he thrashed them last week. He won by a space, and he looked really comfortable getting through the line.
He did. He looked like he had plenty left in the tank there last week. He was real strong through the line.
Okay, the start's going to be all important here. You're off 10 metres along with Agent Black, and he's a really quick beginner. Is that the key? Do you want to try and stay in front of Agent Black? Is that possible?
Yeah, I think the start's a big key in this race with the big fields. So I think we've just got to try and step as quick as we can, and we're off 2 off 10 and Agent Black's out wide. So if we're able to muster up underneath him and hold a handy spot, I think that'd be a real key to this race. Okay,
if you won the Jim McNeil, I'm tipping you'd be pretty chuffed with that.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a great race that I've watched many a times when I wasn't driving, so to drive in it, it's a great privilege.
All right, race number 7, this is the Mares Band 5, Bev the Goat. You combined with this mare to score last week. Did you think she'd done enough last week?
No, I actually thought I got beat last week.
Really?
The other horse got ahead of me at the top of the straight, and I thought she'd rally back, but I didn't realise she'd rally back that much.
Yeah, she's been good. Like, she's been no star, but just she keeps, rising to the challenge, and she's probably got a lot further than what most expected.
Yeah, she come over here as a maiden, and she won a maiden well, and she just keeps getting that bit better, and she's rose to the band 5 grade, and she just keeps improving that bit every week.
So how do you think she's going to handle this step up on Saturday night?
It's going to be a biggest ask that we've had of her so far. It's a nice field of quality mares that run good races in that grade every week, so it's definitely going to be a tough ask, so it'll be good to see how she handles it.
Okay, where do you get to from gate 3? Because the horses drawn to your inside both have good speed.
Yeah, a bit of a tricky question. There's Miss Frou Frou and Aurora Joy, both are high gate speed horses that'll be looking to hold forward spot, so that leaves us in a bit of a tricky spot. So probably just going to have to slide back and tuck in. I reckon she has a bit of early gate speed, but we don't want to overuse her. She's more of a speed horse, so we'll just have to try and tuck in where we can and come with one run.
All right, race number 8. This is the mare's Quali, the Vixen. You know this mare well. Is she slowly starting to work herself back into form?
She is. She was racing quite well a couple months ago, and she's had a bit of a break, and she's just taken a few runs to get back up to her peak, but she's slowly getting there and getting better with each run, so expect a more forward showing this week.
How aggressive do you want to be with her at the start?
She is a horse that likes to get forward and race on speed, but it can be a bit tricky with her at times because she's not the highest gate speed horse, so it makes it a bit hard. We want to get forward, but we don't have the gate speed to get there quickly.
Okay, is Lulu May the horse to beat in that race?
Yeah, she's been racing super and running strong miles, so I think she's a horse to beat for sure.
Okay. Your final drive on Saturday night, the other trot race, Love Gun. He can be a real frustrating type. He was awesome the way he hit the line last start.
He was. He savaged the line in the 2 mile race, and he ran out some good sectionals, so he's definitely racing well.
Okay, so if you get him away and he trots cleanly, he can win this race?
Yeah, 100%.
Yep, okay. Who's the horse to beat there? Get used to it?
Yeah, for sure. It's drawn right alongside us. It's going to be the one to beat for sure.
All right, so they're your 9 drives. And you've driven all of these 9 horses previously, so you know them well.
I have, yes. I've had the experience on them before, which is going to be handy to have.
Which one are you most looking forward to driving this weekend?
Probably Tim's a Trooper. I'm looking most forward to drive. I've only had the one drive on him, but he's a pleasure to drive and a great horse to drive as well.
Okay, race 4, number 8, Tim's a Trooper. Hey, Jack, as always, really appreciate the time. Keep up the great work. You're doing great things. We'll see you trackside.
Thanks for having me on, Chris. Appreciate it.
Layne Dwyer jumps in the hot seat to go through his book of drives, and he's got a busy night in front of him on Saturday night. We've got a 10-race program. Layne going around in 9 of those races, but he's kind enough to join us now. Layne, appreciate the time.
No, thanks for having me, Chris.
You've got some terrific chances here on the weekend. We start with race 1, number 9, Kickatinalong Pony. Now, this guy's back in form. His past couple of runs have been really good, highlighted by that last start victory. How do you rate his chances here on the weekend?
Yeah, I think he's pretty up to the task there. The one will be hard to beat, Momentum Swing, but we've got a nice trailing draw, so all we can do is just sort of sit there and hope they go a bit hard early and make our run late.
All right, it's always hard to predict tempo, but when you look at that front row, there's a few here that can move early, so hopefully the harder the better for you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the harder they go early, the easier it makes it for me to get into it.
How did you rate that winning performance last time out for him, Kickatinalong Pony?
Yeah, no, he was good. I was able to get a couple of slow quarters. The leader wanted to back it off, which was good, and he can do that. He can sit parked, but he's got to get the slow sectionals because he's got a good sprint on him, but no, he did the work and he fought off the favourite on our back, so I was happy with his run.
Were you confident you'd won last time out with him?
Yeah, I thought I did win, but you know, you're never 100% sure when it's a close finish like that, but I was pretty confident I was.
Okay. Is he a confidence type of horse? Like, does he take confidence from that last start victory, and does that sort of build him up for races coming up?
Yeah, I think he is. During the run, you got to have him feeling confident, feeling strong, and yeah, I think he'll definitely gain off that.
All right. Let's go to race 2. This is a good race, the up to NR75 final. Golden Fire, first up since August last year. She was terrific in the heat last week, went second. How much improvement do you think is there to come with Golden Fire?
Yeah, we think a lot of her. We think she's a very, very nice mare. Nathan just said she over-raced a little bit last week, which probably cost her the race. But it's probably a bit of a harder task on Saturday night, but if she puts her best foot forward, she should be in the finish.
Okay, so got a little keen last week. Do you tinker with any sort of changes, or do you just put it down to the fact that she was first up from a long time and it was just freshness?
Yeah, we haven't changed anything with her. That's sort of what we're going off. Nathan said she's probably just a bit fresh and don't change anything, so we just left it as that.
Okay. Another couple of strides. She probably goes close to winning that race.
Yeah, she does. She's got a huge turn of foot, and if she was on song that night, she probably would have won it, but she still went good.
Okay. You've got a couple of good beginners drawn to your inside, Jamaican Rock, Life of Art, Vinsanity. It makes it tricky to sort of just map where she's going to land here.
Yeah, for sure. It's a tricky draw. I think we just have to take our medicine and go back and have one run at them. That's probably the way she likes to be driven the best.
Okay, but we just keep following her regardless of how it plays out here on the weekend?
Yeah, I think so. She definitely wouldn't be out of it, but it is a bit of a tough task for her.
Okay. Race number 3, this is the Band 5 pace, Firestorm Red. He's thereabouts. I think he's got the hoof on the till. Could this be his race on Saturday night?
Yeah, it could very possibly be. He's knocking on the door for a win, and it's going to come any day now for him.
Okay. He's got very good gate speed, so is the plan simple to try and go all the way, or are you looking for cover over the middle distance trip?
I mean, it depends how much pressure we're going to cop, but ideally, yeah, I'd like to hold and lead all the way.
Okay. Is he capable of going all the way?
Yeah, for sure. He's not hopeless, and he's run some good times sitting in front and in the chair. So I definitely think he's probably one of the better chances in that race for sure.
Okay. It's only a matter of time before he wins one on a Saturday night.
Yeah, he's getting very close, yeah.
Okay. Race number 4, this is the Open, and this is one of your faves here, Love Bite. He just doesn't know how to run a bad race. Now, this is probably his toughest challenge to date, but how does he fit into the free-for-all here?
Like you said, it is tough for him, but he matched up to the better horses last week pretty good. He ran 5th, and I think we just got to drive him very similar to how we did last week and punch the gaps and hopefully pick up another check.
Okay. I'm sure we won't go the track record time that we saw last week when Leap to Fame scored, but generally these mile free-for-alls, they run. So the harder the better for Love Bite?
Yeah, he's tough. He doesn't have real high speed, but he can maintain that speed. And like the night he went 51, they were running real hard, but he never slowed down. He's just got a good cruising speed.
Okay. What sort of time do you think he is capable of running at Albion Park over the mile?
I reckon he would run 50. He'd be able to run 51 flat at least, because he can just sit on speed, and they just got to go real hard early, and he'll always get home.
Okay, well that's Love Bite in race number 4. Here's a good chance. Race 5, number 1, JJ Benny. Were you happy to see barrier 1 for this horse?
Yeah, I was. He's another one that's knocking on the door for a win, and he's been going super.
Can he hold the front from the inside draw?
We'll be trying. I'm not really too certain of how much gate speed he's got. He galloped one start on Angus, but sort of just got to look after him a bit. But hopefully we can, yeah.
Okay, he's quite a tough horse, isn't he?
Yeah, I was real happy with his run last week. He just over-raced a bit, and he fought on real well and good time too.
Okay, tell me this. How much of a difference would there be with your confidence if he was starting from barrier 2 rather than barrier 1?
I would be a lot more confident. It's just the fact that he just got to look after him a little bit at the start. But, hopefully we can just hold our spot early and be competitive.
Okay, so on paper it looks really good, but it could just be a little tricky early.
Yeah, exactly right.
All right, well, that's JJ Benny. Feature race on Saturday night. This is the Jim McNeil. Made a killing. I'm sort of really intrigued by this horse coming into this final. All of his runs so far this campaign have been awesome. Are you thrilled with the way he's come back?
Yeah, no, real happy. Like last week I probably should have gone a bit earlier and he probably would have run a bit closer, but, you make mistakes, but he never let me down. He, hit the line real strong.
Okay. Many of these are unproven at the trip. I think there's only 1, 2, 3 tops that have run and won at 2,600. Your guy's yet to prove himself at this trip. Do you think he's good enough to win at 2,600 metres? Yeah,
I do. I think he raced 2,300 down south and he won there. But he probably not doing any work on him. He would handle it. But if you have to do a bit of work, he probably isn't tough enough for that. But driven quiet, he should outrun him.
Okay. There's a few here that are really questionable at the 2,600. So does that enhance your chances if you're confident your guy can run 2,600? And if they are rolling along here at a genuine tempo, there's going to be some tired horses.
Yeah, don't want to sound too confident, but I think he should be there. And looking on paper, they should run along a bit. There's some trotters in there that like to bowl along, and trotters there that aren't that tough either. So I think we just got to drive them as quiet as we can, and then just give them run.
Okay. Agent Black, is he the horse to beat?
Yeah, I think so. But the thing probably that's not in his favour is the journey. I don't think he's overly strong. He's definitely the horse to beat. But if he can get the slow sectionals, he'll be very hard to beat.
Okay, but your guy's a genuine chance.
Yeah, I wouldn't leave him out of it, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's going particularly well, there's no doubt about that. So that's made a kill in there in the Jim McNeil. Let's go across to race 8, Pet Kitty. Is she just proving to be a little frustrating at her past couple of starts now?
Yeah, she's been having trouble with her steering, so I've changed a bit of gear. Well, we changed a bit of gear last week, and then she wouldn't score up because she couldn't see the field in front of her. So I've changed the gear again and hobbled her yesterday, and yeah, she steered good, so fingers crossed we're back on track.
Okay, so with this draw, you're just hoping for a genuine tempo, and hopefully she just sails down the outside?
Yeah, pretty much. That's all we can really do, and I know she's capable of it.
Yeah, she can win this race. If she brings her best, she's definitely good enough.
Yeah, for sure. We think highly of her, but the last few runs have been a bit disappointing.
Okay. Race 9, this is the other trot. You drove Sir Fahrenheit last week in the marathon. He was really good.
Yeah, I was real happy with him. He was just looking for room. Just drove him very quiet first up, but yeah, I was absolutely stoked with him.
Okay, so he's on a quick backup, 7-day backup. How do you think he bounces out of that marathon? He's back to the 2100. He's off the back mark. How do you think he handles it second up?
I think, yeah, the first run would have done him a world of good. He should hopefully he feels a bit sharper. But, yeah, I'm not worried about the quick backup at all.
Okay. He's got good speed, so he's going to be a threat here, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. He's definitely not out of that race.
All right. And what about the last race, Sweet Agenda? This is the Mayor's Open. Riley Rainbow likely to start the favourite here, but Sweet Agenda's going well. Does she rate for you?
Yeah, she's definitely a top 3 chance, I think.
Okay. Do you run the arm early, or do you just sort of grab up?
Well, it's sort of hard because depends how much work we're going to have to be doing early. I think we got to slide the first 50, just see how hard we're going to have to burn to get to where we want to be. But, yeah, she's probably not that strong, but if we can get handy enough, she'll be definitely thereabouts.
They could run a bit of time here.
Yeah, I think they will, and she can sit on speed good, so ideally it'd be good to be behind leader.
Okay, so if she doesn't run top 4, you're disappointed?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay. It's a good book of drives for you, Layne, on Saturday night. Which one are you most looking forward to?
Probably have to be Firestorm Red, probably. He's not far away.
Okay, race 3, number 1, Firestorm Red, but hopefully there's a few other winners there for you on Saturday night. Hey, appreciate the time. Keep up the good work, and we'll see you trackside.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
A big thanks to our 2 drivers, 2 young guns here in Queensland, Jack Chapple, Layne, Dwyer, doing great things. So hopefully there's more success coming their way on Saturday night. Their time was very much appreciated. We've got to find a good thing or 2 for the program this weekend, and I think I've found one that might be a little bit of value. I'm really keen on the chances of race 3, horse 4, Throw Your Arms Around Me. The first up run was enormous. Last week, as we learned from Adam Sanderson, barrier 1, it was just the wrong gate for him. So he moves out a few spots here on Saturday night. He's back up to 2,138 metres, and he was luckless last week in that opening race on the card. I think if he has any luck going his way on Saturday night, he can score. And I think he might be backable. He could be each way odds. So race 3, number 4, Throw Your Arms Around Me. That's going to be our play for Saturday night. 10 races in total. The feature is race number 6. That's the Jim McNeil. Our first race, the first of 10, getting underway at 5:45. We'll see you trackside. If you are gambling this weekend, please do so responsibly.